Hi, my name is Brad Summers, and glad to uh, do a little promo for you for our micro conference that we have coming up for our region. So we're very excited that this micro conference, there's been three partners have come together: Acts 29, Fellowship Atlantic, and TGC Atlantic. And we're really excited about just the spark that this could be for our region regarding both like gospel renewal, equipping you as pastor leaders, and just stirring each other up as we move. We encourage you to move to a host site and work through, listen to the speakers, work through the questions together, and just stir one another up. So we really encourage you to do that. Uh, Even during the lockdown time, it is an encouragement to be able to gather and talk about church. We're pushing hard to say this is not a time to be inactive. This is a time to be active as a church, reaching our neighbors, thinking through renewal in our churches, and thinking through planting. So that's the reason we've picked this theme. I'm excited to introduce you to a friend of mine, David Pinckney. He's in New Hampshire, and I've known him for quite a long time. We've been in the Acts 29 network for a while together. We haven't talked for a really long time. We interact with each other on Facebook a bit, but we haven't talked for a while. So it's been great to just reconnect with you, David. I'm going to ask David to just tell us what he is up to, a little bit maybe of his history, why church planting and church renewal is important to him, and also why rural churches are important to him. So give us a little update of that, David, if you would, as you introduce yourself.
Thanks, Brad. Again, my name is David Pinckney, and I am in Concord, New Hampshire. I've been married to Sharon for 33 years, and we have 5 adult kids, and which, by the grace of God, they're all tracking with Jesus. And anyway, I grew up in a rural pastor's home. My dad pastored rural churches, and right here in New Hampshire. And my first pastorate was actually following him in a little village Baptist church, and through the course of 10 years there, saw it revitalized. That would be the word we'd use these days. The first 4 years were a long honeymoon because I got married and had babies. Next 3 years were kind of hellish because we're trying to bring about what today we'd call gospel centrality or missional engagement. And that didn't go so well initially, but then after about 3 years, the place just in a good way blew up. And so that's sort of my first experience. Then I was on staff at a mega church down in Pennsylvania for about 5 years. And then the Lord really hit me hard about coming back to New Hampshire and planting. And so we moved back here in 2002 and started what became the River of Grace Church. And I've been here for now 18 years. And about a little over 2 years ago, Acts 29 realized we weren't doing anything to promote and recruit and value rural church planting. And being the oldest guy in the room at that point, I was asked if I would take that on as a sort of a part-time job. And so for a little over 2 years now, it's been my privilege to work around the globe, actually, as what my title now is the rural strategist for churches in hard places. And just love doing this, love what God sees as valuable, which are people. And people, if there's a place where there are people, God values those people. So that's where we're at, and look forward to talking a little bit about what does it look like to be on mission in a rural place.
That's awesome. It's so good again, Dave, just to have you as part of our conference. And it's really important for us in our region to have guys who know the experience, who have been on the ground, who know how hard or how difficult it can be. So often, sometimes in an urban setting like where I am, mission is right at our front door always, in many ways, and we see mission maybe much more readily. And we've asked you to actually look at the topic of how do you stay on mission in a rural setting. Now, I think it's a falsity to say that mission isn't on the front door in a rural setting either, but sometimes it's just harder for us to move into it. So can you just give us a bit of a quick highlight on what you're going to share with us on Saturday morning on being in a rural setting and being on mission?
So I have 2 parts to this. One is why Jesus values rural ministry, and number 2 is then how to do rural ministry. The value. So I'm not too far from our little hospital here. It actually has 6 floors, and imagine with me, I get on the top floor of the elevator going down, and on the next floor down, a father and his 6-year-old daughter get on, and they're both crying. And I don't know why they're crying, but there's something certainly bad happened on that floor, and the elevator goes down. And I would be a fool to think that because the dad is older, bigger, has more financial ability and more education, his sorrow matters more than the little girl. And yet that we do that often with urban versus rural. We say it's bigger, there's more people, therefore it matters more. And I'm here to tell you, Jesus doesn't look at that way. In fact, just to sort of push one of the points is Jesus didn't go to the big cities of his day. He didn't go to Alexandria, Egypt. He did not go to Rome. He was a man of Galilee. So that we'll talk about why rural ministry is really important. And then we'll talk about how to do rural ministry and what are some missional strategies to consider.
That's great. That's part of the goal, right? Is to give our leaders, to give you, our leaders who might be listening in on this, to give you some hands-on tools. But it's not just tools; it's the theology, the reason why, the centrality of Christ in it. We want to continue just to remind you of that, because that refreshes us, it renews us, and it hopefully will. This small, short micro conference will hopefully just renew your desire. And part of that is as well, at the end of our conference, we want to give you an opportunity to reach back to us. And if there's any way that we can help you in that, if there's any way we can equip you, any way we can follow up with you, we want you to know that we're in the region, that we're able to connect outside of our region for networks to guys like David and get resources, to get help for you. Sometimes we can feel like we're alone in ministries here in our region, and we want to encourage you that we're not alone. These 3 organizations are coming together to kind of fill our coffers a little bit with resources and renewal and revival. So, David, really glad you're going to be with us. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I've already said that 3 times, and I've already told you probably 10 times in our pre-call. But this is so vital for our region. So thanks a lot. Really appreciate you being a part of it.
Great, Brad. Looking forward to it.